Okay, all right. Well, today we're going to attempt to connect the transmission to the engine on the ground. That way when we go to insert the motor into the car, we can do them together as a unit. There's the transmission. We now have to disassemble all that stuff that we put on for the one of the previous videos. And then there's the engine, which we'll have to attach the pressure plate and the clutch and everything and bell housing onto there. Stay tuned. So here's the tranny stripped down, and then we had to remove the bell housing. Senior Paco, remove bell housing. There we go. There's the bell housing, and here's the tranny, which doesn't mean what it means today. That's gonna go on the other end. We spun the motor around so that we can attach the transmission over here, sticking out that way. That's next. Senior Paco, tell us about these clutch parts.
Okay. Well, so these are pilot bearings. You get to choose the one that fits your application. They both have the same inner diameter, but the outer diameters you can see are quite different. So these go in the back of the crankshaft. And then this thing is an alignment tool. It goes through your clutch.
There's little splines on there.
Right, it looks suspiciously
like that
like
shaft.
Those splines. And the pilot bearing would go like that. But he's, like I said, inside the crank, and so what ends up happening is you imagine this in the back of the crank, and you shovel that through, and that keeps your clutch floating.
Right in the middle.
Right in the middle. And the reason you got to do all that is because, so this is your pressure plate. It's got little ears. There's the business end. That goes on there. And this presses against your flywheel. The problem is, how do you keep all this stuff? Well, you do that by doing this. Three things.
There it is.
So then this helps it align it when you go to put it in. And then the last component here is throw-out bearing. It presses up against the ears, just like that. So when you step on your clutch, it pushes this in.
Yeah, using a fork, which we're not showing.
Presses these ears down and moves that. Of course, you can't do it. It's hellaciously hard by hand. Anyway, those are them.
That's it. Thank you, Professor Paul.
No worries, man.
So the clutch fork pivots on this little ball here. So I'm going to screw that into the bell housing into this hole here. There it is, all mounted up. See? And the fork's going to come through that rectangular hole and pivot right on that ball. So this little booty here is what the clutch fork goes through. Tries to keep the dust and stuff out. So we got to plug it into that rectangular hole like so. When I got to kind of finagle it in there. Here's that little booty now in place. Show the other side. And that's what it looks like from the inside. So now we're just going to run the fork through there. So in order to avoid chafing on your nipples, you got to put a little bit of grease on there. I didn't film it, but that is the pilot bearing tapped into the hole. It was a two-man operation. So here you can see we got a stack up of the flywheel, and then next comes the clutch, which you can't see too well anymore, and then this is the pressure plate, and this is the spring that you're pushing against when you push your foot on the clutch. And our little alignment tool has done its job. It's holding everything in its place, and Paul's just going to torque it now to what, 35? Click, that's the one. The torque wrench we have goes click when you get there. Listen for it. There it is. Okay, we're down to putting the bell housing on. So we got to slide that fork over the, well, goes right over the splines and line that up with the end. Oops, we got a big head there.
Big pins.
Like so, and then hold on with 6 bolts. And now it's just a matter of torquing them down, There's 6 of those nice gold colored grade 8 bolts.
I need a 916.
And now the mating ritual of the GM motor and transmission. Just got to stab that one into the other one. A few minutes later, you see the tranny and the bell housing are now joined together. It's one big metallic happy family. Engine, bell housing, transmission.
Not holy matrimony.
Nope. It's an unholy love affair.